If you have not read this book, you're an overthinker. You are someone who is in your head a lot. If you have ADHD, especially as a woman, because you most likely have the ADHD where it's more inward, inattentive ADHD like me, and there's a lot going on up here, please read this book. Please read it because I'm almost finished with it. And usually I would finish this book in a day, but I want to really take my time with it. Listen to this. It says, most of us feel the divine inspiration, but then suppress it as soon as we begin thinking about doing it. We begin to think ourselves into doubt, rationalize why we can't do it, tell ourselves that it's unrealistic, how we should focus on more important things, and that we're not good enough to do it. As soon as we begin to think about the thought of wanting to create, it completely shuts off the source of that inspiration, and we can go back to living the life as usual. When we cut off that source, we also cut off the feeling of abundance, vitality, ecstasy, joy, and pure unconditional love, and go back to the feeling of doubt, anxiety, frustration, sadness, and feel confined, stuck, frustrated with our lives. We can only ever follow one calling at a time, either in inspiration or desperation in the present moment. The two cannot coexist simultaneously, but we can fluctuate between the two depending on how much thinking is going on. For the first time, I think I understand when Abraham Hicks says that when you feel inspiration to do something, just sit in that. Don't try to think of how to do it or how you can start creating it or how it's gonna pan out or what you can do now to bring that thing to life, but just sit in it and really feel the feelings and the emotions of the excitement of that idea on its own. and I think that's what it's talking about, because this really talks about how you can have a thought, but you don't have to think it. And it's in the thinking that is causing our suffering. Because when we start to think on things and start to ruminate over things, that's when we start to get overwhelmed, frustrated, anxious, and things like that. But it's okay to have a thought. Like a cloud, it's okay to have a thought and allow it to move past. You don't have to dwell on it, but you can acknowledge that it's there. And you can see that it's there, appreciate the thought for what the thought is, and let it move by. This book is truly changing my life as an overthinker and as someone who is trying not to live in my head so much and be more